Dear friends, fellow human beings, in this video I'm going to talk about how to choose role models in our modern world and some of the mistakes that we innocently make in choosing our role models. So this message goes out to everybody, but specifically the young people out there who are looking for people to look up to, people to follow, in a sense. And I know that's been the case for myself growing up, and I've been fortunate to find somebody who I could look up to and who I feel embodied virtue, embodied wholeness, embodied a greater potential than what I was aware of in my immediate environment. So that in of itself is such a gift, it's such a treasure. And when we grow up, we begin by idolizing and idealizing our parents naturally. That's a part of our psychology and our development, to look up to our parents. Oftentimes it's the parent of the same sex or the opposite sex. That can depend, but our parents, when we're children, is our caretakers and our idols. Now, at some point during our life, we will have to wake up to their imperfections, natural imperfections, imbalances, places where they have not worked out themselves. And that can be a painful awakening, a painful realization. I've gone through it myself. But it's a very important movement. It's an important process of becoming objective about our parents, which helps us also individuate and become who we are meant to become authentic, to be self-governing, to become and follow our own path in life instead of walking in the footsteps of our parents. That does not mean that running a family business is not the way to go. That's not what I'm saying. It means that we need to be ourselves. We need to be authentic to who we are. So we need to journey and discover our true expression and our true self. And that's the journey. That's the journey of fulfillment. Because it's only by doing that journey that we can truly fulfill our lifetime on earth, clearly. So this is a very important point. Now, in that movement, in that collapse of who our parents, now in that collapse, which can be very painful and threatening and disruptive, there is a possibility for a deconstruction that can take place. And from that openness, from that space, and something new can emerge. And as human beings, we need role models to inspire us, to show us what's possible, and also to lead us, teach us, guide us in the direction of wholeness, of completeness, of the fulfillment of our potential. Right? And in our modern day, at least for and especially for the last maybe 50 years, with the advent of the internet and especially social media, the world is full of information and images of especially celebrities, famous people, experts, successful people, and oftentimes we choose those people as our role models. We idolize them. We idealize them. We want to be like them. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But this is where we need discrimination and discernment, because we don't want to fall in the same trap of believing that these people are perfect, that these people have it figured out, because it's not necessarily the case. It can be the case that they are on a level of wholeness and are really embodying in that, but that's not generally the case. It's not. And in the same way that we had to sober to the reality of our parents' fallibility and humanness, and the fact that they have issues, we need to do the same thing about all the celebrities and public figures that's out there. Right? Just take some time to reflect on the people that you look up to in your life. And after this, watching this video, I invite you to really inquire into and contemplate how objective your perception of them is. Do you see them truly as they are, knowing that they have shadows, as we all do? Knowing that they have unconscious behaviors, as we all do? Limitations, restrictions? Are you taking into account the fact that they do have limitations? Maybe issues that are not displayed publicly? Or are we taking things at face value? Right? Bring that into yourself and simply contemplate that. Give it some time to unfold, but open your eyes and really be curious to find out, to discover. Right? With an open mind, not to demonize, but neither to idolize, to see clearly. Right? This is the middle way. So the average, to be frank, generally speaking, the people that we see on media, very few of them embody wholeness. Generally, they excel in a certain area of life, for example, their profession. They're experts, photographers, or they're athletes, or they're actors, or they're musicians, artists, business leaders. So oftentimes the people who you see in front of you, leaders, they excel in a specific area of life. Right? And that does not mean that they are well-rounded, deep and authentic human beings. Just because someone is successful doesn't mean that they embody virtue either. Right? So this is important to take note of. Now, one thing that is important to say is that these people can inspire us. I get inspired by seeing people do great things, by being masterful at their craft. I love that. I really enjoy experiencing that, to feel that refinement, to feel that quality in their craft. But you need to discriminate between someone who is an inspiration and someone who is a role model. Someone who is an inspiration inspires you to maybe move in a certain direction, or it gives you a certain momentum to fulfill your own destiny, to fulfill your own potential. But someone who is a role model, you want that person to be solid. You want that person to be whole, right? And that's the next point that I want to make. In choosing our role model, the mistake that we would be fortunate to avoid is having imbalanced human beings as our role models. Because if we model ourselves out of an imbalance, we will also develop in the direction with imbalance. So what we want to do is to find a role model that embodies wholeness, who embodies balance. And that is an art. That is a skill. And you could also see that's a science. Because to live on a planet where the majority are maybe living unconsciously or living in an imbalanced way, to find whole human beings is a rare thing. But they do exist. And what I want to highlight as important qualities of that is a quality of maturity. Like the quality of maturity is an indication of wholeness, of development. Right? And if you model yourself in relationship to someone who is mature, then your direction will naturally become more mature yourself. Right? So to be conscious about who we pick, who we choose as our role models is really essential and significant in our lives. My role model through my 20s has been a person whose name is A.H. Almas. He's the founder of the Diamond Approach, and I have learned so much from his example in how he is as a human being. And another key point that I want to make is that we do not want to imitate our role model. We want to embody what they exemplify, what they embody themselves, which are qualities of authenticity, sincerity, willfulness, clarity, intelligence, creativity. We want to unlock that within ourselves, not to become like them, not to be a replica of somebody else. We want to really find and live out our true nature, our true self, who we are in our fullness of our potential. That's what we're aiming for, right? And having a wholesome role model can facilitate and support that journey. And to be frank, we need that. We need that. So don't imitate, although maybe some imitation may happen, which is natural. It's not something to reject. And it's not something to kind of defend against. But be aware that that is a step. That's a stage of the process. You want to blossom into you in your fullness. And to respect, honor, and really cherish the people who have guided you, who have inspired you, who have been your role models in that process, which is a natural response to being fortunate enough to bloom. Okay, that's what I had for today. This is a really potent message. Really take it in and work it and go on a journey for yourself to really get clear on who are your inspirations, who are your honest role models. If you don't have role models, you can even pray to actually have a role model come into your life that embodies wholeness, that embodies completeness, that embodies your natural true aspirations, your soul's aspirations in a true sense. So that's also an invitation. If you're interested in learning more, go to my YouTube channel, Enneagram of Life, and also all other social media platforms. And if you want to know more about my offerings, you can go to enneagramoflife.com. My name is Wazi. I'm a teacher of Enneagram of Life, and it was good to speak to you.